Welcome to the first New York City Teaching Fellows online information session. My name is Melissa, and I'm very excited to have you join us tonight. We are excited to share all of the fun new things we have in store for this upcoming New York City Teaching Fellow season, and we have a lot of answers to your questions because we know that a lot of you have had sent us messages about you're excited to know when this program will start. You're excited to know when we are going to open the application. We're going to share that information with you tonight. And I am joined tonight by a lot of our colleagues from the TRQ team. But just to start us off, my name is Melissa, and I work at the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality for the New York City Public Schools, and I'll be your facilitator for tonight. We are very excited to have you with us tonight celebrating this first information session. You all have the potential of being part of a very historic program, and we're also excited to announce that this season we are expanding our cohort, so we're expecting and offering a lot more slots for our fellows program. So we are excited to see you all here. Our goal tonight is to teach you all about the components of the New York City Teaching Fellows program and to provide you with some up-to-date updates. And this session will function kind of like a Q&A. So we will give you the opportunity to ask us questions and we'll give you some direction as to how to do that. So with that being said, just a few tips on how this will work for you tonight. So we will give you the option to ask us questions. If you see in your control panel, there is a questions box, and you can ask us questions through there. We will be pausing throughout the session to kind of look at what common questions everyone has. If there's something that wasn't clear, we will repeat that as well. We just want to make sure that everything is clear and that we kind of answer as many questions as possible. We are also going to take time to address some of these questions out loud. So you may have an answer to your question personally as we type them to you, or if we see that many people have the same question, we can take some time to address it out loud. And at the end, if we have enough time, we can open some of the unmute buttons and let you ask us questions live. We're also going to be giving you a lot of information during this presentation, and we know that you're not going to be able to remember every single thing. So if you miss anything or if there's something you want to repeat, don't worry. You're going to receive a recording of this session once it has been completed. And you're also welcome to share this recording via email to any other applicants who may not have been able to attend tonight. We also have a support center in our website at nycteachingfellows.net. That is also a great resource, and we're going to be referencing this online support center a lot during this session. But there is where there are a lot of FAQs. You can search, and you can also ask us any direct questions. So if there is a question we're not able to answer tonight, maybe your question is a little more in depth or requires us to do a little bit more research, then you would submit your question through our support center, and then we can get you the best answer we can with that. Again, we're going to provide you with these resources and these website towards the session, so we'll give you all this information on how to access all of those resources as well. With us tonight, we are joined, as I said, with a few colleagues from us as TRQ. With us is Darrell, who works at TRQ, and Jacob, and also Melissa Fleming, who is an actual New York City Teaching Fellows alum. I am also a New York City Teaching Fellows alum. I was a bilingual teacher for a while. So you're going to be hearing from our colleagues tonight, from each and every one of them. They'll do a small introduction of themselves when they present each section. Just a little overview of what we're going to go over tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about what is the New York City Teaching Fellows? What are some of the components, subject areas, what supports we give if you decide to enroll in this program? What is the application and selection process look like and what you should expect? And then hopefully at the end, we'll have more time for some questions and answers. We do ask that if you do have questions to kind of hold them off a little bit. We are going to be talking about all the different components of the program. So if you have a specific a question about a component, to wait till that section is over. And then if you still continue to have questions, we will get to those. But before we start and I pass it over to Darrell, I do have a poll question I want to share with everyone. So if you look at your screens, you should be able to see this poll question. We want to get to know who is with us tonight. So what borough are you joining us from? We want to know where from New York City. If you're in New York City, I know some people may not be from New York City. So just if you are, what borough you're joining us. Sorry, there isn't an option for outside of NYC. But we have quite a bit of people who have already voted. Thank you so much. And we are waiting. It seems like, oh, Brooklyn is winning. Okay, Brooklyn. My colleagues are probably going to be very happy about that because a lot of them are from Brooklyn. So we shall see. Give us a few more seconds because I know, again, not everyone is from New York City. And we have about 75% completed, which is great. All right, so it seems like the majority of us are from Brooklyn, followed by Queens. Then we have the Bronx, which is where I'm from, representing the Bronx, and Manhattan, and then by Staten Island. So thank you for filling out that poll for us. Just note that we have a very large amount of people joining us tonight. So that's very exciting. So if we don't get to answer every single one of your questions, please bear with us. We are trying to do our best to do it. But again, we'll give you some information on if we don't get to answer your question, what you can do after that. So with all of that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Darrell, who will talk to you about the program.
Thank you, Melissa. Shout out all of the boroughs. By the way, you said every borough is super excited, but Staten Island. There's somebody from Staten Island. I appreciate that. So shout out Staten Island and everybody that's on the call today. As Melissa said, we have some really cool people on the call. My name is Darrell Myers. I work in TRQ with the DOE. I am also a coordinator in recruitment as well as the co-host of the Education Unfiltered podcast. Check us out on YouTube. And thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to get a little bit into what the Fellows is. Now, I know we have 600 or over 600 people on this call. Most of you know about the Fellows, if not in its totality. You've heard about it. You've heard from a friend. You've heard from a family member. We're going to get into the nitty gritty and talk about what exactly this amazing 25 years long program is. The New York City Teaching Fellow program is an alternative pathway to becoming a certified teacher in New York City. All right, so this is run by New York City Public Schools for over 25 years, as I mentioned before. We just celebrated our anniversary last year. It's designed for people who want to start teaching while earning their certification. So you are teaching while earning your certification to teach. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Through an alternative certification program, you can teach full-time under what's called a transitional B certification while completing your coursework. Now, these programs, they help fill teaching roles in high-need subject areas and communities, especially in Melissa's hometown, the Bronx, and mine in Brooklyn. The process begins with pre-service training, where you spend several weeks working alongside experienced teachers and gain hands-on classroom experience before becoming a full-time teacher. After training, you begin teaching in your own classroom. How exciting is that? Earning your own salary. At the same time, you'll be enrolled in a graduate program through a partner university to earn your master's degree in education, which part of the tuition is covered by the program. So throughout this process, you'll receive coaching, professional development, and job search support to help you grow as an educator and meet all New York State certification requirements. In short, programs like New York City Teaching Fellows allow you to teach full-time, gain real experience, and complete your certification and master's degree all at once while making a meaningful impact in New York City schools. This is incredible, y'all. All right. So we're going to grow, and we need your help to do that. So we're looking for fellows who are ready to make a long-term commitment to New York City students. So people who want to make a real difference. Our public schools are dedicated to attracting, supporting, and keeping the very best teachers in the classroom. That means many of you on the call today, even if you don't think so. New York City Public Schools offer incredible opportunities for growth and recognition. Through programs like Teacher Career Pathways, experienced educators can expand their impact by stepping into leadership roles within their schools. So we also celebrate excellence through the Big Apple Awards, which each year nearly 5,000 inspiring teachers are nominated by their students, families, and colleagues. So these programs highlight the talent, dedication, and passion that define New York City teachers. Now, let's talk briefly about the salary and benefits. Now, as Melissa said, we know a whole bunch of you have a whole bunch of questions. We ask that if you can stay to the end of the call, I recommend you hold your questions till then. We do have people writing in the chat ready to answer it, but 80% of the questions you have right now, I guarantee you will be answered in this slideshow. So for right now, we're going to talk briefly about salary and benefits. The starting salary for New York City teachers in the 2026 to 2027 school year will be $68,902. And beginning September 14th of this year, that base salary will have increased to $71,000. So we're at $71,000 right now, guys. If you're offered a spot in our 2026 cohort, you'll receive detailed information about salary steps and the UFT contract during your enrollment process. So you can also scan the QR code right here on the screen or visit the UFT website anytime to explore salary scales and benefits. So take a look at this. And also, I saw some people ask already, will this be available, the recording of this? Yes, it will be available, and it will be available online shortly after the ending of this recording. So don't worry, guys, you will be able to go back and look at this. And now, if you already hold an advanced degree, you may qualify for a salary differential, since teachers with a master's degree start at a higher salary than those entering with a bachelor's. However, our office can't provide exact salary estimates if you have prior experience or additional degrees. So again, we recommend checking the UFT website or contacting HR Connect for more information. And in addition to a competitive salary, New York City teachers enjoy a comprehensive benefits package that includes health insurance, membership in the UFT, which is the United Federation of Teachers, with dental, vision, and prescription coverage, pension enrollment, and access to a wide range of discounts and promotions. So you are going to be going to school, getting your certification while teaching with your teeth intact. Okay, we got benefits, y'all. It's dope. Awesome. So let's go over the basic eligibility requirements for the program. Boom, bachelor's degree. You must have a completed bachelor's degree by May 31st, 2026 to be eligible to begin the program. So what that means is if you are a student and you don't have your BA yet, but you will have your bachelor's by May 31st, 2026, you may still be eligible for this program. So do not worry, to my last semester students. Your undergraduate GPA. Applicants with a GPA of at least 2.5 are eligible to apply. If your GPA is below 2.5, you may still qualify if you've completed a master's degree program with a GPA of 3.0 or higher. So if you earned your degree, also, by the way, if you earned your degree outside of the United States, you'll need to complete a course-by-course evaluation of your international bachelor's degree. We recommend requesting that now, since it can take some time to process. And we do have a lot of folks from other nations that want to be New York City public school teachers. For those folks, I will say this again, if you earned your degree outside of the US, you'll need to complete a course-by-course evaluation of your international bachelor's degree. And we recommend doing that now because it can take some time to process, okay? So we don't want the application to be open and we're choosing selectors and you still haven't done your course-by-course evaluation. That can definitely impact your enrollment. And also, permanent work authorization within the United States. Please note that our program cannot sponsor work visas, so you must have a U.S. employment authorization document at the time of enrollment showing that you have permanent authorization for full-time employment starting in June 2026. Also, you must not have any prior teaching certification. This program is designed for individuals who are new to teaching. So for all of you on the call who aren't sure if you be good teachers because you don't have experience teaching, that's fine. This is for you. You must not already be certified to teach at elementary or the secondary level, and you should not hold a degree that leads to teaching certification in the US or its territories. Previous enrollment in other programs. So if you've already started pre-service training in another alternative certification program, such as the Fellows, New York City Teaching Collaborative, Pathways to PE, or Teach for America, you unfortunately wouldn't be eligible to apply again. English fluency. Oh, speaking of which, hold on, y'all. Need some water because my English is getting dry. You'll also need to be able to speak, read, and write fluently in English. And if you're unsure whether you meet the eligibility criteria, we still encourage you to apply, all right? Our team will review your background and confirm whether you qualify. You can also reach out anytime through our online support center for help. So let's pause for a second to see if there are any questions about eligibility. And to my teaching recruiters on the call, if you see any common questions, feel free to blurt them out.
I do see a couple of people asking about the bachelor's degree, and basically a lot of them asking if you need a completed bachelor's for the program, and also does it have to be in education? And basically you do need a completed bachelor's because the program does require you to enroll in a master's degree program. So obviously you cannot get a master's without a bachelor's. And your degree does not need to be in education. You do not need education credits in order to apply. If you do have some education credits, which I've seen here, someone asking that they have a few education credits, as long as these credits do not lead to certification, then you would be eligible for the program.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
Another question, Jarrell, is can substitute teachers and paraprofessionals apply?
Absolutely. We love ourselves. We love our paras. We love it when you guys elevate yourselves in your career. Being a substitute teacher or being a paraprofessional does not disqualify you from this program. Again, you must not have any prior teaching certification, and you must not have been in a program that leads to teaching certification. So if you are a para or you are a sub, you still qualify.
Let's see, anything else? Maybe kind of going over the GPA requirements, because I see a couple of questions about GPA.
Sure. Okay. So bare minimum, you need to have a 2.5 to qualify. If you have any GPA in your undergrad, that means your bachelor's. If you have your GPA under 2.5, then you do not qualify unless you have completed a graduate program and have earned at least a 3.0 in your graduate. This means if you got a GPA under 2.5 in your BA, you went on to get your master's and you've gotten at least a 3.0, it doesn't matter which subject area, as long as it wasn't education, then you will still qualify.
Any other questions we see?
Also, I see some for our international folks. Guys, again, if you have earned your degree overseas, meaning outside the US or its territories, you must submit a course-by-course evaluation. The program does partner with different organizations that provide course-by-course evaluations, which can be provided and seen on our fellow site. It does take some time to process. So if this is you and you know this is your situation, please do it fast, get that course-by-course evaluation, because we don't want any holdups in processing you as a fellow.
Yes, another question that we have, just to reiterate what Darrell said, because someone just asked that they have their GPA is below a 2.5. Just to reiterate, the only way you would be eligible with a GPA lower than 2.5 is if you also have a completed master's degree with a 3.0 or above. If you do not have that, unfortunately, you are not eligible for this program. I also see someone saying that they have another teaching certification, including like CTE or any other teaching certification that you have. You would not be eligible for this program. So if you are already enrolled in any type of certification program within New York City or elsewhere, you would not be eligible for this program. You cannot have more than one certification at a time. So if you're enrolled in, again, any program that leads you to a certification, including a transitional A, a CTE certification, you would not be eligible for this program. I think we should move forward. Again, the audience, if you have questions, please fill them in. We're doing our best to answer all of them, but yes, we should keep moving on.
Yes, now we're going to discuss the timeline and the training model of our program, just to give you guys a better idea of how it would look in your life. Okay, so this slide gives a snapshot of what life looks like as a fellow during pre-service training. So please keep in mind that dates and times are subject to change, and fellows will receive the most up-to-date details once they're officially enrolled in the New York City Teaching Fellows program. It's also important to note that you must be available for the full 7-week training period. Unexcused absences can lead to removal from the program. So these are for my vacation folks. I will say this again. You must be available for the full 7-week training period. The whole thing, we need you there, all right? This is a lot to learn, and we need to make sure we use our time effectively. Training is made up of 3 main components. That's what you see up here. So these 3 main components work together to prepare you for your first year in the classroom. The first and most important part is your field experience. This is your full day, hands-on practice in a New York City public school called a teaching academy. So during this time, you'll begin leading lessons, working directly with students, and developing your skills with ongoing guidance and feedback from your coach. For the 2026 cohort, field experience will take place daily and full time, starting in June 2026 and continuing through August of 2026. Fellows also receive a training stipend, though the amount has not been determined as of right now at the time of this recording. Next are your skill building sessions, where you'll strengthen your teaching practice by observing model lessons, practicing instructional techniques, and designing standards aligned units of study. So these sessions typically take place in the evenings, allowing you to apply what you're learning in your teaching academy during the day. So it's going to be a repetitive process of learning and applying. That way you really grasp the knowledge of what it is you'll be doing. Finally, you'll also begin your graduate coursework, which is the fun part, through one of our partner universities. Now, coursework may start as early as summer 2026 and continue during your first 2 years of full-time teaching, or until you complete your master's degree in education. So again, your coursework can start as early as 2026 and can take up to 2 years, at which you'll be teaching for those 2 years to finish in your master's degree. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one. And now we can talk about one of the benefits of the program. Just give us 1 second. There we go. Boom. All right, so one of the benefits of the New York City Teaching Fellows program is that the New York City Public Schools covers a considerable amount of the cost of your master's degree in education. So I saw a few people asking about the cost of tuition and what the stipend, subsidy will be. So most of it, fellows are expected to contribute about $12,000 towards tuition, though that amount has not yet been finalized at the time of this meeting. So this cost doesn't include books, materials, or any additional coursework required to meet state certification requirements. But get this, rather than paying the tuition up front, this amount is deducted gradually from your regular paycheck once you begin teaching. So this means that typically, fellows don't need to take out loans or make out-of-pocket payments for their degree. On average, fellows complete their master's program in about 2 to 3 years, as I mentioned before. And our university partners for this year have not yet been finalized, but have included City College, Brooklyn College, Hunter, Lehman, Adelphi, Bank Street, Fordham, Pace, and Touro College. Each fellow is matched with the university based on their subject area, location, and available space in the program. So timing is important. So fellows cannot select their own university. All fellows are required to complete a master's education program, even if they already hold a master's degree in another field. So please note that previous graduate coursework does not transfer towards this program. So I know that might have been a mouthful. I'll just reiterate these last 2 points. Each fellow is matched with their university based on a multitude of factors, including subject area, location, and available space in the program. Timing is everything, and that's why you cannot select your own university, but we will take into consideration your preferences. But again, guys, a lot goes into factoring where you'll be studying. And for our smart folks on the call who already have their master's degree in some other subject area, whatever it is, yes, you do need to earn a master's in your education program, even if you already have a master's degree. And no, your current graduate coursework will not count towards this one. All right, let me click over to the next one. Boom. All right, so we got a little bit about, you saw a little bit about the program, about the training. Now we're going to go a little bit more in depth into the timeline. Now that we've reviewed the summer training schedule, let's take a look at what life as a fellow looks like over the next few years. In June 2026, participants will begin their training in a New York City public school classroom, working under the guidance of an experienced coach, a mentor teacher who has demonstrated effectiveness in high-need school districts. During this summer period, you'll receive a stipend. Yay, money. I love that. Throughout the 7 weeks of pre-service training, fellows gradually take on more classroom responsibilities, planning and developing instruction, along with skill building sessions. This time allows you to develop, practice, and refine the skills needed to become an effective teacher. So this is what I was talking about when I said learn and apply, learn and apply. This is where you get that those roots that you need to be an effective teacher. And after training, you'll start a full-time teaching position under a transitional B license, aka a Trans B, which allows you to teach while completing your initial certification. So you'll receive support and guidance to help secure your placement in September 2026. In the fall, fellows also begin a graduate coursework towards a master's degree in education, continuing again through your first 2 years of teaching. Now, most fellows complete their degree within 2 to 3 years, after which you can apply for an initial certification. Once certified, fellows are eligible to teach in any New York State school within their certification area. Now, I know, again, that was a mouthful, so we're going to pause right here and see if there's any comment questions before I pass it over to our friend Melissa. I'm gonna open the floor up to my teacher recruiters. Guys, do you see anything? Let's see if I take a look.
Darrell, I do. There are a lot of us, and thank you for joining us. A lot of folks who are here who already work as paraprofessionals, substitutes, sub-paras, a lot of us who are already working in our New York City public schools, and they have a few questions. Number one, the first question is, are they eligible to apply to this program? The answer is yes. If you already are a paraprofessional substitute teacher, you are eligible to apply if you meet all the other eligibility requirements. The second most common question is, what about June? If you are working as a paraprofessional, the training does begin early June, meaning your school work, you will be technically working at a school as a paraprofessional while this training begins. So if you are a paraprofessional, you will have the option to have a leave of absence if you are working with as a paraprofessional. But that is if you have at least 1 year of experience as a paraprofessional. And you can get more information about that leave of absence from the paraprofessional office. once you apply. But yes, you are required to attend the training for our program. But with this leave of absence, if anything happens, you will still be able to go back to your job. Hopefully you don't have to, but you will have the option to take a leave of absence. But again, only if you have 1 year of experience or more as a paraprofessional. Everyone else would just have to start the training in June.
And I'll reiterate, oh, I'm sorry, Melissa.
No, go ahead.
If you have your bachelor's in education, be it early childhood or the like, you will not qualify for this program. It is our recommendation that you continue your coursework in a university program outside of the fellows. So if you are already certified or your bachelor's is in education, you will not qualify for this program. But being a substitute teacher or a paraprofessional does not disqualify you.
Let's see, any other question?
Some people are asking about choice, whether it be your subject area or university. So again, the fellows will take into consideration all of your preferences, where you would like to teach, what subject area you would like to teach. However, there are many factors, again, that are going into consideration when it comes to your selection. It is up to the program at the end of the day to choose where you will be teaching or what you will be teaching. It is also determined by what your transcript allows. So New York State has a certain amount of credits and standards needed to teach each subject, which can be viewed on our website. So you can potentially teach any subject area you qualify for based on your credits.
And with that, Darrell, I think it's important to highlight too, because I see a lot of people asking questions about if they can pick where they can work, if they could pick the university they go to, if they could pick where they train. So just kind of a rundown of what you can pick, starting with subject area. You can prefer your subject area, but it's not guaranteed that you will teach that subject area. So when you get the application, just preference anyone you would like to teach, and hopefully you can get your preference if you're eligible. Then when you start the training, if you're accepted, you cannot pick your training academy. That will be assigned to you. But again, we take a lot of different factors into place, like your location, your subject area, all of those different things. So your training academy is assigned. Your university is also assigned. So again, depending on your location, depending on the subject area, that's where we would assign you for those. But then your placement for full-time work in September is you do get to choose. So the fellows does give you a long list of eligible schools where you can choose what school to work in. So that is your choice. You are in charge of the job search where you work permanently, but we'll talk more about that as we move on.
Yes.
I think,
and any more comments before we move to Melissa? No. Okay. All right, great. So I'm going to continue this presentation and pass it along to my lovely colleague, Melissa Fleming, who is also a New York City Teaching Fellows alumni. So tune in. Take it away, Melissa.
Hey everyone, my name is Melissa Fleming. I am a Teaching Fellow alum, and as I say, once a fellow, always a fellow. I'm currently a high school Spanish teacher in East Harlem. I love this rigorous program that has a lot of support, and I'm happy to talk about subject areas that we're offering for 2026 tonight. So please keep in mind that these subject areas are tentative and may change as we learn more about the high need for this upcoming school year. As we mentioned earlier, a core value of the New York City Teaching Fellows is placing fellows in classrooms that need them the most. Each fellow is trained and assigned to teach in a high demand subject area for New York City Public Schools. Subject areas offered through the program can change each year based on New York City Public Schools hiring needs. And when you apply, you'll indicate your subject area preferences, as Melissa said earlier. We'll assign you a subject area based on your eligibility, preferences, and the city's hiring needs. While you can rank your preferred areas, you cannot choose your final assignment that's going to be assigned to you. Placement depends on your completed coursework, availability of positions, and your preferences. Coursework eligibility requirements will be covered in the next few slides, and additional information is available on our online support center at nycteachingfellows.net. We encourage applicants to indicate all eligible subject areas, as availability may change during the application season. And once submitted, preferences cannot be updated. So take a second and really think about how you're preferencing your subject areas. Assignments are provisional and may change based on availability or university requirements. And ultimately, our university partners will make the final determination, ensuring that you meet the New York State requirements for certification. So the next slide, this is a look at the high need subject areas we're offering for 2026 program, along with their eligibility requirements. For 2026, we're offering math, Spanish, E&L, and a variety of sciences, including physics, chemistry, biology, earth science, and science immersion. We're also offering English as a new language again this season. These content-specific areas require prior coursework in this subject to qualify. We're also offering special education and bilingual education. These areas don't require specific content coursework, though bilingual Spanish certification does require Spanish fluency. Additionally, this is really exciting, we're excited to offer a new subject area, students with disabilities, moderate to severe autism generalist. And this is grades K through 2. This immersion program supports teaching younger students and begins training earlier than other subject areas. Eligibility requirements for all subjects are available on our website via the online support center. You can also scan the QR code on this page for detailed information on each subject area. Some subject areas do fill up faster than others, so we encourage you to apply as soon as possible, as this is a rolling basis for the applications. Because some spots fill in subject areas quickly, this season is especially important to apply as early as possible to secure your preferred placement. As mentioned earlier, some certification areas require specific content coursework to meet New York State requirements. If you're interested in teaching math or science, you must have either a bachelor's degree or higher in that subject area, or at least 30 credits of subject-specific coursework with a grade of C or higher in each course. If you want to teach math or science but did not major in this subject, or you don't have those 30 credits yet, you may still qualify through our immersion program. Applicants with 12 or more credits in math or science, this is for the immersion program, with a grade of C or higher in each course may be also eligible for certain subject areas. Please note that fellows in the immersion program will need to complete additional university coursework to meet the New York State requirements, certification requirements, and this coursework is at your own cost. The majority of our 2026 fellows will be certified or will be teaching special education, and a bachelor's degree in any subject qualifies you to be eligible to teach special education. As a special education teacher, you'll provide instructional supports that help students with special needs access academic content. There's a variety of teaching settings, including being the primary teacher in a self-contained classroom, co-teaching in a general education classroom, or leading instruction in a mix of small or larger group settings. Special education teachers have a generalized certification, allowing you to teach in multiple areas. Some placements do focus on a single subject like math or English, while others involve teaching a range of subjects. So your placement will depend on the school and student population. So it's important to consider the type of setting you prefer when searching for a job position at a school. A small group of fellows will be working with students with moderate to severe disabilities and will teach in a special district, District 75, and receive additional training to support these students. This year, we're introducing a new special education program this season. It's called Students with Disabilities Moderate to Severe Autism Generalist in Ames for grades K through 2. We're excited to provide an area geared towards our younger students, since most of what we have offered typically has been in middle school and high school, so this is new this year. The AIMS program is an early childhood program serving students from kindergarten through 2nd grade who are on the autism spectrum and need additional support. Each class will include 6 students, providing a small, structured, and supportive learning environment that allows for highly individualized instruction. The program focuses on developing key foundational skills such as learner readiness, communication, and daily living skills. AIMS is also an immersion program, meaning that training and preparation begin earlier than the typical fellows program. The training start date is still being decided for this specific program. This early start date, though, gives participants the opportunity to develop specialized skills, learn classroom routines, and build strong relationships with students before the school year begins. And because AIMS works with young learners and offers such a unique and rewarding teaching experience, we anticipate that this is going to be a really popular program this year. For that reason, it's really important, again, to apply as soon as possible to secure your best chance at a placement in this highly sought after program. Our program also offers opportunities to teach other languages. To become a Spanish teacher, candidates will need either a degree in Spanish or 30 credits in Spanish or Spanish literature. And we also offer a Spanish immersion program similar to the math and science. And for that, candidates will need at least 12 Spanish credits to qualify for the Spanish immersion program. Bilingual fellows also help students strengthen their English language skills while continuing to learn in their home language. These programs aim for students to read, write, and speak fluently in both English and their native language. This season, we're offering bilingual education in Spanish. We're also offering students with disabilities bilingual programs for grades 1 through 6 and 7 through 12. Fellows in these areas earn certification in a base subject plus a bilingual extension and must be fluent in the target language. And how they determine fluency is with the university partners. You'll be taking a fluency exam. English as a new language, or ENL teachers, support students from diverse language backgrounds as they develop English proficiency. To be eligible, candidates need a bachelor's degree in any field and at least 12 credits in a foreign language. So it's really exciting to hear about all those different subject areas and the requirements. And we're going to take a pause right now for any questions before we pass it over to Melissa Castro.
Let's see. So I do see some questions here talking about if you have a minor or if you have anything, if you have a minor in any of these areas, such as math or any of the sciences, that we added, or some language credits, you can be eligible for the program through the immersion program. So just an overview, the immersion program is you have about 12 credits or more in that subject area, and you're working and you start your training before others, just to kind of make up that coursework. And you will work with the university to make up the coursework you need to get to those 30 credits. So immersion program candidates do start early, their training a bit earlier, but it is to it's a fast track to get them the credits they need in order to get certified to teach in that area. So yeah, that applies to every subject area that has an immersion program, which is science immersion, Spanish immersion, math immersion, any of those, and the also moderate to severe students with autism immersion program. And just to know, for these programs, Spanish, science, and math, you do need 12 credits or more. You can't have 11, you can't have 10, you need to have 12 credits between your bachelor's and master's. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be combined with both, but you need to have 12 completed credits. We do accept some CLEP credits, but not all of your credits can come from CLEP exams. Any other questions we see here that are? And then I think someone was asking what specific courses do you need to take for these subject areas? As long as they are from a math department, a science department, they don't have to be specific courses, except for math. You do need Calculus 1 for math. But other than that, they don't have to be specific courses. They just have to be courses in that department with at least a C or more as your grade. Any other questions?
Yeah, Melissa, I don't know if you want to take this one. Some people are asking, what if I took some education courses, but I didn't get a degree in education?
Then you would be eligible as long as all of those credits don't lead to a certification, you should be fine. Just make sure you meet all the other requirements as well. And just so you know, yep, so, and then people are asking if they have more than 12 credits, can they be immersion? Yes, you could either have minimum 12 credits, and then in order to be in the non-immersion, you would have to have either a major in the area or 30 credits or more. So I think we should keep moving because we do have more information and a little time. So I think we'll move on. And let's see. Oh, so now that we learned about the subject areas, I'm going to do another quick poll just to see what subject areas you are interested in so far. And they're just general. We just want to see generally what you are interested in teaching. Are you interested in teaching science, any of the sciences, math, bilingual, ENL, Spanish? What areas are you interested in teaching? So you can go ahead and add those.
Do you remember who won last year?
I think there were a lot of people who were interested in, I think ENL was probably our winner this time, it looks like it's our winner this season too so far, but I'll give you a couple more seconds. Yes, a couple more seconds to fill out this poll question just to see where your interest lies. All right, maybe 10 more seconds to see where we are so far. And all right, 5 more seconds. Okay, so we have, yep, our ENL is a very popular one. Just note, a lot of you, if you're interested in ENL, take a note, there are a lot of people who are interested in it as well. So the sooner you apply, it is a rolling basis application. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you, you know, there's only so many slots we have for ENL, so we can't put everyone in that subject area. So they do kind of fill up quickly. So the earlier you apply, the better chances you get of getting in there. All right, so thank you everyone for participating in that one, and I will push it over to my colleague, Jacob.
Hey everybody, my name is Jacob Urena. I'm also a community coordinator out of the office of TRQ with Darrell and Melissa. And I'm going to bring us into the next phase of our presentation, focusing around job search support. So just going a little bit more in depth on what life is like for a fellow after you complete that summer training. We can go to the next slide. Perfect. And so just to be clear for fellows, once you're accepted and enrolled in the New York City Teaching Fellows program, you'll begin your job search. And that may sound daunting, but I promise it's not. So fellows manage their own search. So it's not just like we put you somewhere random, you have no say. You do get to manage your own search, and you can accept the position at any New York City public school, as long as it's on our eligible schools list, which every fellow will be provided once they're in the program. And this includes more than 900 public schools throughout the city. So you can imagine a lot of the schools in the city are on our list. So there's a decent chance that a school that you have in mind may be on our list. Hiring decisions are then made collaboratively between not only the fellow, but the principal. And we do this to really help ensure that there's a strong long-term match, and that really benefits both the students and the schools, because we don't want anyone to be somewhere where they're uncomfortable or vice versa. We really want to make sure it's a two-way street and both parties involved are just happy to be involved and happy to be there. So although you'll lead your own job search, our team does provide plenty of support along the way. We don't just leave you alone to it. Fellows gain an access to online job postings. They also gain school interview events that we organize for you all, and you also get principal visits during the teaching academy as well. And beyond that, we do offer a bunch of networking opportunities throughout the summer and throughout that job search process as well. So we do try to give a lot of opportunities for everyone to get to meet the principals in different schools in different areas, and really try to make you feel like you are comfortable and know the environment, the culture, and the feel of the school that you will end up working full-time at. And on top of that, our job search team, our job search success team, they do also offer targeted support for specific fellows, and this includes workshops, resume building workshops, mock interview help, and a plethora of other support sessions that we offer to really make sure that every fellow feels like they're ready and prepared to take on the job search and that next step in the process. So in line with our mission, fellows focus their searches on schools from our eligible list located in historically underserved districts, and most fellows ultimately secure teaching positions in the Bronx and Brooklyn. So as we previously mentioned, the whole purpose of this program is to really fill those gaps in those underserved and underrepresented areas, districts, schools, and subject areas. So to keep in line with that mission, that is more of our target focus in terms of areas that we will be offering for fellows to be teaching at. But again, we offer a lot of support. And our goal is to help every fellow that gets through that program get into a school and teach full time. And as you can see from this slide, we offer a lot of support along the way there. And then going into our next slide, one of the more exciting aspects of the program for a lot of us. So this is our special Bronx cohort. So fellows teach where they're needed most, like we keep reminding you all, and often in communities that face challenges attracting and retraining strong educators. That's where we come in, so we can get those strong educators in those areas that need it. So one of these areas is the Bronx. That's one of our most in need areas, traditionally speaking as well. So to meet this need, we've developed a smaller cohort of fellows who commit to teaching in the Bronx for at least 2 years. So to be a member of that Bronx cohort, it's a little different from the other fellows because you are committing to staying and teaching in the Bronx for 2 years after you begin the program. So it's a little bit more of a harder commitment, but it's for a great purpose. As part of the Bronx cohort, fellows receive added benefits, including a more heavily subsidized master's degree and exclusive networking opportunities with Bronx schools and leaders. Fellows in this cohort also complete their training and coursework in the Bronx, helping them build strong local connections from day one. So a lot of you will notice that's one thing that's very different from the Bronx cohort in comparison to being a fellow anywhere else, is again, that master's degree is more heavily subsidized, so you will likely end up paying less than a traditional fellow, and that's part of because you are committing to teach in the Bronx for 2 years. And I just want to be very clear on that. So if you're interested in joining this program, you'll receive details on how to apply for the Bronx cohort when you are accepted. So I just want to clarify that because I know a lot of us, I know the Bronx cohort sounds like a great deal. You're getting a lot for it, and you get to teach in the Bronx, which is a great borough, one of the most popular boroughs. So but I want to emphasize that information on how to get into the Bronx cohort, you will get that once you are accepted into the program. So you will not worry about that during the application part. You will not worry about that during the interview phase. Once you get that acceptance letter, you will get information on how to apply and try to be a member of that Bronx cohort, and you can go on from there. So I just want to make sure that is clear, because I know that more heavily subsidized master's, it's exciting. It makes you want to jump on it. I don't blame you. I would jump on it too, but you will get more information on that once you are inside of the program. And with that, we're going to transition to the next portion of our presentation, which is the application process. Give a little bit more insight into the application process, what that's like, and what to expect. So for starters, the 2026 New York City Teaching Fellows application is opening this Wednesday, November 5th at 12 p.m. I know it's very exciting news, so try to everyone relax, breathe, take a breath, it's okay. But yes, it is opening this Wednesday, and with the launch of that application on Wednesday, November 5th at 12 p.m., we recommend preparing all of the materials that we will share shortly before you apply. That way you can just have all your eggs in order, you're ready to go, and there's no hiccups. In the meantime, you can use this QR code that we have on the screen to review the essay questions included in the application. And yes, you read that correctly. We are providing you all with the essay questions that you will see on the application ahead of time to give everyone time to prep. We're not in the game of surprise. We want everyone to feel confident and prepared when it is their turn to apply. So please, everyone, I'm going to pause for a second. Take a second to scan that QR code, get access to those essay questions. And even if you're not going to look at it right now, I recommend keeping that link or just keeping that file somewhere readily available so that you can go over that at your own discretion. And as a reminder as well, we also highly encourage you to take your time and be thoughtful with these essay questions. We really can't stress enough that these essay questions are one of the most important parts of your application. We love to look at the GPAs. We love to look at the experience. We love to look at all that and see what your credentials are beyond the screen. But the thing that really gives us the inside scoop into who you are as a person, who you will be as a teacher, and why you would be a great fit for this program are those essay questions. So if you're not putting your time and energy into those essay questions, we don't have the ability to get a real full picture of who you are. And again, the better you answer those questions, the more honest and in-depth you are, the better your odds at getting into the program, because we can feel comfortable with knowing that you are someone that we want to go forward in the process and hopefully become a teacher for us. So I will emphasize that again. Please take your time, do not rush, and put as much time and effort as you can for a reasonable rate into those essay questions. Another tip that I do want to include as well, and again in the spirit of being transparent, is please be aware that AI detection software will be used when assessing essay responses. So if language in the essay response is flagged, the assembled score that we give based off your essay questions will be reduced. That doesn't mean that you're disqualified, because you may still move forward in the selection process, granted certain circumstances, because we really do not condone the use of AI in terms of overhauling your essay questions. But as a reminder, even if you have used AI in those essay questions and you move forward in the selection process, you will still be required to complete a phone interview and a selection day interview. And those questions are not pre-populated; those are very natural, and you'll have to know what you put in those answers. So again, just want to make it clear, we do scan for AI, and it will negatively impact your score. But I don't think anyone in here is going to use it, because you all are going to put the time and effort into it to give us those beautifully curated, original, honest answers. And then moving on to the next slide, we will give a little bit more in depth about what the New York City Teaching Fellows application process looks like. So our selection process has 3 steps, and you'll see them on the screen as well. Step 1 is the online application that will be launching this Wednesday, November 5th at 12 p.m. And followed up from the online application is a phone interview, which will then segue you into our virtual selection day. The online application, it basically just collects basic information, including your resume, your unofficial transcripts, all the logistical information that we need in the beginning of the process. This application is your chance to show what makes you unique and why you'd be an effective teacher. We encourage you, though, to pay close attention to the application essay questions, as those have a high impact on whether you move on to the next stage. Again, we do have that AI detection software. It will be used. I'm sorry to be repetitive, but I just want to make sure everyone knows that if language in the essay response is flagged, the assessment score will be reduced. You'll also indicate your preferred subject area in that online application. And although we encourage flexibility from all applicants, we do try to take that into consideration and try to fit you where it makes sense by going off of your answers. As a reminder, applications from foreign universities should start the course-by-course transcript evaluation as early as possible, as sometimes those evaluations can take several weeks, and we hate seeing people miss out on applying to the Teaching Fellows program because they didn't get the evaluation on time. The phone interview, which is the next step, that gives you more of a chance to speak with a New York City Public Schools educator and do a role play scenario reflecting common classroom challenges that all teachers face in every day of being in the classroom. That's, again, the more organic part of the process. You're able to let your personality show a little bit more as you're actually having real conversation and can be more of yourself other than behind the computer screen. The final stage of the application process is the virtual selection day. In this virtual selection day, you'll teach a 5-minute lesson to other candidates and participate in a skill building session. You'll also receive feedback and then reattach your lesson after applying the feedback that you've gotten from the other candidates and spectators. That will be the most interpersonal part of the program. Now, remember, we're not looking for polished teachers. What matters most is your ability to communicate ideas clearly and use feedback to improve. All candidates are provided with resources like sample lesson plans and video examples once they're invited to the selection day. And this typically takes about 6 to 8 weeks to receive notification on an acceptance decision after selection day. So I want to take a pause. I know I just said a lot and had a whole spiel about the application process. So I'm going to leave some room for questions, and let's see which ones we think we should share with the rest of the group.
Thank you, Jacob. Just to clarify, I see a lot of people putting in the chat that they don't have their phone available, so they were not able to scan the QR code. What we can do is put the link to the application questions in the chat, and then that way you can click on the link and go to the website. So for those people who were not able to scan the QR code and have that, or take a picture, you can actually take the picture of the QR code and scan it afterwards. We will put the link to the page in the chat for you before the session ends. Let's see.
Just wanted to add too, this session will be recorded as well. So there's always the opportunity to go back into the recording and screenshot it as well if no one can do it now. But we will have it in the chat as well. So.
Yes.
Can you just go over about why they should submit their application by December 19th?
For sure. I can take this one, Melissa. Yeah, for sure. So our first early action deadline is December 19th. We highly recommend applying by that deadline because, as Melissa mentioned previously, the New York City Teaching Fellows does take applicants on a rolling basis. So it's a first come, first served. And the earlier you apply, the better shot you have at really getting the subject area of your choice before some of those more popular ones fill up. So for example, English as a new language, we know, is our most popular subject area for a second year in a row. And as you could imagine, let's say if hypothetically everyone wanted to go for that program, those that apply by that early action deadline are going to have a higher chance than someone that applies the second to last week before the application closes, because those spots may fill up very fast. And as previously mentioned, we really do focus on the subject areas in need. So once a subject area is full and at capacity, we begin to segue into the other areas that we have in need. So again, the earlier you apply, the better for you. And I want to highlight again, that's just our early action deadline. It's not our final application deadline.
And then just to also add to that, we have early action deadlines. And just so you know, generally the application closes in March, which is a few months away, but we always encourage people to apply before that deadline, because last year we experienced that people that waited to that March deadline to apply didn't get their preferred subject areas, didn't even get like option to interview, because slots fill up very, very quickly. We have thousands of people who apply every season, and we expect it to grow even more each season. So our advice, and that's why we do kind of early action deadlines until we get to the final deadline, and we always encourage people to try to submit before this deadline, is because we don't want anyone who can apply now to wait till the end to submit, because again, we run into those problems. Not getting your subject area because most of them are full, not getting interview slots because most of those are full, not being able to submit necessary resubmissions if you're missing something or not having enough time to kind of gather all your stuff and provide us with more documentation if we ask for it. So we want to set you up so that no one here has that issue of, oh, I wasn't accepted into the program because I applied too late. So we definitely always want to keep you just being transparent with you and guiding you to that deadline. So our first early action deadline is December 19th. That does not mean the application closes December 19th. That means we encourage you guys, since we're in the beginning of November, to have until December 19th to complete it so that you're not in that batch of people who's worried about. You're in the first batch of people who get to be interviewed, who get to know if they're accepted way before everyone else. Let's see. Other questions. Some people are asking, what can you do to prepare for phone interview and selection day? I see a couple of questions about that. Before you schedule your selection or phone interviews, you are given resources. You are given just information about what to expect, what you can do to prepare, how you can, just understand what's happening during that time so that you're not going into anything not knowing what's going on. So one of the great things is that those interviews are very structured. So we will give you kind of all the information you will need to understand what it's like and what you should do to prepare as well. And just so you know, for selection day, because someone asked, do you get to pick what your lesson is about? You are given, based on your subject area, you are given a series of objectives that you can choose from, and you have to choose one of the topics that are given to you. So yes. Other questions. I do see some questions about people saying that they want to become an art teacher or an English teacher or a gym teacher. And just so you know, like the subject areas that we showed and shared beforehand, those are the subject areas we are offering. If we didn't mention it before, it's because we're not offering them this season. Again, remember the New York City Teaching Fellows program kind of prioritizes the high need areas. So if an area is not that high of a need, we are not offering them. But what we will say is if you are interested in teaching English or history, and that's not a certification area we are offering this season, I would consider, maybe you would want to consider teaching special education, because as Melissa mentioned previously, as a special education teacher, you are open to teach any subject area. So for example, if you want to be a math teacher, but you don't have any of the math credits, you can teach math to special education students through that certification. So if there is a subject area that's not offered or that you're not eligible to teach, we strongly advise you to consider teaching or choosing special education, because that license will allow you to teach a variety of subject areas, including history, including math, science, English, so any other subjects that you may not have seen here tonight.
I also see people asking for specific credit requirements for each subject area. So I'll just reiterate that all of our subject areas and their specific credit requirements are listed on the New York City Teaching Fellows site. So if you guys have a specific subject area in mind and you weren't sure if you qualified or not, just know that you can look it up on our site and look at the New York State regulations for those subject areas.
Yes. Thank you. Anything else we see
Also, if
here?
you don't get to your specific question tonight, guys, please do not get too upset with us. We're trying to answer as many as we can. But if you absolutely need a question answered, please write us on our online support center at Zendesk, where somebody will specifically answer your case. Some questions may need more information where we need you to submit documents. We encourage you all to do that on Zendesk.
Yes, yes. Thank you for mentioning that, because I see a lot of people asking specific questions about their individual situation. And some of those questions, as Darrell mentioned, will require us to take some more time. We are going to show you what our email address is and where the support center is in our website as we move towards the end of the presentation. So we will provide those resources. But again, there are some questions that we're seeing now that do require more kind of follow-up questions or more information. So as he mentioned, please don't get frustrated if we haven't answered any of your questions. We're doing the best we can. We have over 600 people here. Yes, so please keep that in mind, and I will share the resources at the end as well. Any other lingering questions?
Only other question I see repeated a couple times throughout the presentation is just as well, if you are graduating this winter or next spring, as long as you have your bachelor's degree by the end of May 2026, so by May 31st of 2026, you are eligible to apply. So if you're a senior and you graduate this semester, or you graduate next semester, but you would have that bachelor's completed and done, and you have your prospective GPA and all that good stuff by May 31st of 2026, you are eligible to apply.
Yes. And then also with that, May 31st, 2026, any credits that you will need to be eligible for any of our areas would have to be done by May 31st, 2026, because I just see a couple of questions about people asking, like, what do we need to have our credits for math before we start the program or any of that? Yes, you have to have all of your credits before you start any of our program, before May 31st, because as you know, training begins in June, beginning of June. So you must have that.
Also a common question. Some folks on the call think that the subject areas mentioned on the slide tonight are the only ones. I just want to say they're not. If you guys want a comprehensive list of all the available subject areas for this year's cohort, they can be found on our website. Just listed here tonight are just an example of the eclectic amount of different subject areas you can choose from. But if you want a comprehensive list, I definitely recommend you go to our site.
Yes. Some people are asking for the application link. Again, the application is still not up yet. It opens November 5th, which is this upcoming Wednesday, and it opens at 12 p.m. So it is not, it will not be available until that time. And we're going to share as well more information on what to expect, where you can find the application as well. I think we can keep moving forward, Jacob, because I see some questions about what other materials you will need.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect. So that segues us right into our next slide, focusing on application materials and what you need. So if you are ready to commit to NYC Teaching Fellows, the next step is to apply on Wednesday. And hopefully do that by our early action deadline on December 19th, as mentioned. And we encourage you to take advantage of all available resources, such as the application preparation guide we have on our website, NYCTeachingFellows.net, and our support center, which we will also give you the link for as well in this presentation. This is really where you can find the answers to most of the frequently asked questions that people have. And likely find a lot of the answers to the questions that you may have. The support center will continue to be a valuable resource for us because that's really where you can ask your very specific case-by-case questions. And again, for the online support center that we offer, you do get the chance to talk to us directly. So we answer those directly. We're able to see everything and really have a more in-depth conversation for those applicants that may have questions that require a multi-step answer. That's where you can get the best support for that. Your application will also require you to upload a resume and a copy of your unofficial undergraduate transcript or official, whichever you please. So we encourage you to prepare those documents now, or just get ready to get those ready because the application will be opening soon on Wednesday. If you have a degree from outside of the U.S., you will need to get that course-by-course evaluation, as mentioned previously, so we can have your undergraduate transcript officiated. So we encourage you to prep that as well, because like we mentioned, that may be a several weeks long process. So we try to make sure everyone has enough time to get that done. And then, as always, you can learn more about the course-by-course evaluation by going to our support center and searching course-by-course evaluation. We also do have more information on the website about the specific list of organizations that we partner with for your course-by-course evaluation. That way, there's just no confusion and everyone's on the same page. And lastly, if you know anyone who would make an outstanding teacher, encourage them to join you in applying so they too can start the most meaningful career and make a lasting impact for New York City students. Word to mouth is always the best PR. That's always the best marketing. So we always encourage people, if you know anyone interested, get them involved with you. It also just make it a little more fun. Maybe you can work on the application together, make time go by a little quicker. But this is the checklist for what you could expect to need when the application goes live on Wednesday. So that resume, the unofficial transcript, your graduate transcript if you also have your master's degree as well. And then for people who earn their degrees outside of the US, do not forget that course-by-course evaluation. Your application will not be able to move on to that next step and be reviewed unless we see that course-by-course evaluation for those applicants who got their degree outside of the US. With that, we're going to segue to our next slide, which will go into where you can find the application. I know this is the question that everyone is looking for. So you can go to NYCCityTeachingFellows.net and click apply now. So it will be as simple as that. That is the website where you can find it, NYCTeachingFellows.net. And you'll immediately see the application pop up. And on Wednesday, you'll be able to see that apply now button, Wednesday, 12 p.m. when it goes live. And yeah, it's as simple as that. Don't forget, the early action deadline is for Friday, December 19th. So hopefully for everyone in this meeting that's looking to apply, we're all getting that done by then, so we can meet that first batch and there's no confusion, no hiccups, and hopefully we can all get into the subject area that we please. All right, with that, I'm going to pass it to my great colleague, Darrell, to help us close out the presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Jacob. Appreciate that. I would just want to open up the floor for any other questions to my teacher recruiters. Do you see anything common, something not so specific, but something that may apply to us most in the chat? And while they're looking, I just want to say thank you to everybody again for joining us on this call. There's so many of you, over 600 folks interested in being teachers, and we love that. Again, guys, if your question hasn't been answered tonight and you absolutely need an answer, please write us on the New York City Teaching Fellows website via Zendesk, where myself, Jacob, Melissa, or one of the members from our team will make sure that you have an answer. And you can write us as many times as you like.
Darrell, I
Yes.
do think maybe we should reiterate like what training means, because I see a lot of questions about people asking like, oh, I have my job and I won't be finished till June, or I'm a substitute and it's gonna require me to finish till the end of the school year. Just what, how that works for us, for people who.
So one of the greatest things about the Fellows program is that we have people from all walks of life, from all different industries that do a multitude of different jobs. So that answer could be different for everyone. I will say, if your job, I will say this, the Fellows summer training is 7 weeks. And typically it's from, we don't have the exact dates, but it's typically around like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. or something that's pretty much all day. So if you have a situation with your current job or work where you can be at the Fellows training as long as you need to and still keep that job, then phenomenal. Most people can't. Some people may have to take leave of absences from their job. and others may have to quit their job altogether just to make sure that they're here for the training program. So we do know that this accelerated program is intense. We do know that it's rigorous and requires all of your attention. And this is required for the program. So guys, it is up to you to determine if you can meet the standards needed to be in this program. But it does change from case by case. I cannot tell you what to do with your job. I can only tell you what is needed for the program. We do need you for 7 weeks, every day, Monday through Friday.
Yes, and as Darrell mentioned, it is a full-time experience, so it will not, and it requires you to be there from morning to evening. So if your job is in the evening past 7 o'clock, you're full-time, then sure, but it is going to be difficult, but you will have to attend this full-time training in order to be eligible for our program. You can, like you said, it's 7 weeks, which is a short amount of time to train. So it's very extensive. So every day counts. So attendance is very important. And if you are not attending the summer sessions, then you would not be in good standing with the program.
Yes. And guys, this is something to be excited about, but it is a huge undertaking, which is why if you join in on our Meet a Fellow nights, you'll hear the fellows talk about how important it was to be able to lean on one another, and how some of their fellow fellows kept them in the program because of how challenging it could get, because everybody has life, life, family, different situations that require their attention. So to be in this program and be committed to it is a big commitment. We are acknowledging that. So it is important to plan ahead, understanding that this commitment is needed. And then if you need extra support, extra assistance, we will do whatever we can via Zendesk. Just write us. And if you're already in the program, please know that you can lean on your mentors, your coaches, and your fellows. And that's throughout your entire tenure within the program and even afterwards.
Yes.
And the exact for the folks asking about exact dates for the summer training, we do know it's in June. The exact date is to be dated. If you are signed up for our newsletters, you will stay informed. As soon as we know, you will know as well.
And just because some people are also asking about the stipend amount, we have not determined what that amount is just yet this season, but it is very early on in the season. But once we do get that amount, we will definitely share with everyone as well. Let's see. Again, I think we spoke about this earlier, but the subject areas, the ones that you see in this PowerPoint or this presentation, the ones that we mentioned, are the ones that we are offering. There are no other subject areas on any other list. Those are the subject areas we are offering this season. We're not expecting to add art, gym, physical education, English, early childhood education. We're not expecting to add any of those subject areas in the near future. So those that we've presented are the ones we are offering this season.
And someone asked, if not accepted by the early action deadline, can I still apply? Yeah, if you don't make the early action deadline, yes, you may still apply. You may still submit your application. We just recommend that if you do have your ducks in order, if you are planned out, and if you are ready to rock and roll, you know what you want to do, and you have all your paperwork and transcripts ready, you apply as soon as possible. Because this is a first come, first serve basis. So the earlier you get in, the quicker you may get to a selection day or a phone interview. We have a limited amount of selectors with a very limited schedule, so we can't fit in everybody all at once. So the earlier you get in, the better your chances are. Also, if you're applying around the time where pretty much every subject area is open and available and still looking for more fellows, you have a higher chance of getting the subject area you want. If you wait towards closer to the end of the recruitment season where everything's pretty much filled up, then I'm sure you can see how your options could be limited. So time is of the essence. We do want you to plan so that you can dedicate your time as needed in the program. However, we also want you to move with haste. Please move with haste.
And just to reiterate, because I think also that question can be read as, if you submit your application and you get an email saying you're not accepted, can you apply again for the
Yes.
next
Okay.
deadline? And the answer to that question is no. You would only have one application for the season. You could apply again next year, but you cannot apply again this same season. So whatever you meant with that question, whoever submitted that question, hopefully we answered that as well.
Yes. If you don't make it in this season, use that knowledge and apply next season, not this season again.
Yes.
Because we do see your names.
And just also, some people were asking, someone asked, are you allowed to apply to multiple subject areas? Yes, you can prefer multiple subject areas, but you will only be assigned to one. You can only be accepted into one of them. You can't say you want to do both ENL and bilingual education. You will only be assigned to one, and the program will only allow you to be certified in one area. There were a lot of special education questions that I saw earlier. So Darrell, I don't know if you want to kind of talk a little bit about what special education is and like what the requirement is to teach special education.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about special education is that their requirements aren't as content specific as some of our other subject areas like bilingual or science or math, where you need a certain amount of specific credits to teach a certain subject. I believe to teach it, you just need a BA, and it's a general one. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So you can pretty much have your BA in just about any subject area to qualify to teach SPED. Also, for our creatives and for our friends who want to find artistic or creative ways into teaching and incorporating that into their lesson plan, SPED is a great way to get involved. It's very hands-on. In many cases, you can curate lesson plans that are more in line with your specific teaching style. So it's very fun, and that's why a lot of people lean towards SPED, and a lot of SWD teachers are happy because it's a high need subject area like any other thing. And also it can qualify you. I mean, it can open up more doors for you later on in your teaching career than some other subject areas where they're more content specific.
Yes, thank you.
And somebody asked about, I just saw this one, they were asking about day-to-day stress levels, talking about the difficulties of first year teaching. Yes, it can be stressful to be a first year teacher, but one of the things I love about the Fellows program is more often than not, fellows feel more prepared for their first year of teaching than folks who are outside of the fellowship, mainly because of the support systems that are in place before you even get into the classroom, while you're in the classroom, and even after hours. You always have a coach, you have a mentor, and you have a cohort of individuals who are sharing the exact same experiences as you, and their lives are moving too. They have families too. They may be coming from another industry just like you, and these people are your support system and your back to lean on. So yes, it can be scary. Yes, it is challenging being a first year teacher, but you will have all the prep necessary to endure. And yeah, we're human. Things can be stressful, but you always have support.
Yes. I think in the interest of time, we only have 1 minute left. We can move on.
Okay, so our next virtual information session will be November 13th at 6 p.m. Our next webinar is Thursday, November 13th at 6 p.m. It is another info session, so we will be sharing updated information on the program. So if there's something that changed between today and then, we will address it on November 13th at 6 p.m. So please tune in. And then, okay, we want to remind you again that the Online Support Center offers hundreds of articles that address common and not so commonly asked questions about our program. If you don't find what you're looking for or have a specific personal question, you can reach us directly through our contact form located at the top right corner of the Online Support Center. Again, it is on the top right corner of our Online Support Center, and you can access the Online Support Center from our website, nycteachingfellows.org. Anywhere you see a question icon on the words Online Support Center and potential, yes. So again, if you have any questions that we didn't get to today or something that's very specific to your situation, write us or email us right here. And for those who do have their phones, feel free to scan that QR code.
Yes, thank you. And for everyone who was asking about where they can email us the questions, again, we tried our best to answer all of the questions, but this is the email address if you want to email your specific question. And that top address is the Support Center. As Darrell mentioned, it has tons of articles and resources, and a lot of the questions you're asking can be answered via that web page. So feel free to explore, and if you continue to have questions, you can email us any other questions there. It is 7:31, and I just want to close out our webinar and thank every single one of you for being with us tonight. We are super excited to start our season. Remember, the application opens November 5th on Wednesday at 12 p.m. So please don't write us at 9 a.m. saying, where's the application? It opens at 12 p.m. You can find it on our website, nycteachingfellows.net. We are thankful. Thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you to David, who is helping with answering questions. And thank you to all for joining us. Have a great evening, everyone, and hopefully we see your applications very soon. Good night.